morning. NJTE, you're correct. I just realised the streaming time's actually wrong for this stream. It says it's starting at 9:30 my time, but it's not. It's starting at 8:30. I think I probably scheduled this. Just change glasses. I think I probably scheduled this. This is going out, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. I think I probably scheduled this before daylight savings time changed, and when the daylight savings times happened, it's kept the original time, which is now an hour in the future. That would be called a bug, YouTube. Hello, Richie Peach, NJTESIT. How are you? All right, we're looking at Boston, Albany today. I think we are anyway. What are we looking at today? We are looking at Boston. Good stuff. Just check my little chart. And I clicked the drive button and not much happened. Oh, there we go. It's just being sad. So we're looking at this thing. Boston, Albany. Hello, Jonah. So this thing comes out from G-Trax, if I remember rightly, I think it was G-Trax. And it comes with a bunch of locomotives, but I won't tell you which ones because it's part of the quiz. I am okay, Richie Peach. Hello, Henry. I did actually strain my back a little bit. I don't know if you guys all know, but I work on a real railway as well as pretend ones. And yeah, I don't know what I did yesterday because I was on the easiest locomotive of all time, the oil-burning steam engine. But it was probably climbing up or climbing down or something. But that's okay. I'm on a coal burner tomorrow. That'll stretch me out again. Lots of shoveling to do tomorrow. But anyway, we're going to start with the New England States westbound while we talk a little bit more about this route. So let me just start that off. You know, it's an interesting screenshot because that arch is kind of hideous. It's nasty graphics. From Iron Bladder. Well, yes, to play train simulators, and Iron Bladder does help. Normally I will have actually played the game before I stream it, but I haven't actually touched this route. Anyway, it's just been too much stuff on. Train 47 westbound, New England States Express. The New England States is the premier express train from Boston with connections to the West Coast via Chicago. Reminds me of a Blues Brothers song. It departs South Station daily at 2:30 p.m, making limited stops. You'll be driving the first leg from Boston to Worcester. Or is it Worcester? I suppose it's Worcester, Massachusetts. As the railroad's premier train, it is unlikely that we will experience delays along the inside route. That usually means we will. Set up the engines, but wait for clearance from the conductor. Loud, isn't it? Just turn that down a bit for me. Let me know if it's too loud for you guys. Just bring that back down to my normal levels. Just under the yellows. That looks good. I suppose I should get in the cab, shouldn't I? Oh, look at that. Train go boom. Shall we try that again? Bugger. Do I try that one again? Or do we try a different one? And yes, NJTE, Boston South Station, pre-electrification. That's what it looked like before it turned pink. So we'll try that one again. Let's see what happens. Train Sim Classic, folks. What can you do? This is why I usually like to run the game before I actually show it off. Anyway, let's give it a crack. Let's see what it does. Hello, Metra. Nits. It's an interesting station name. Conwy. Alright, let's see if it explodes this time. Ooh, we saw brake messages come on. That implies it's got Smokebox's scripted braking. Alright. So where it all went wrong before was I pressed 1. Maybe I should just wait. It does look nice. I've got to give it that. Let's try and get in the cab. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's okay. Excellent. Let's have a look around the cab. What can we do? Rotator valve. What can we set that to? Passenger is probably a good idea. Wait, let me set it to passenger now. There we go. And I'm guessing that's the independent brakes. Let's... rail driver's not working. That's joyous. I'm going to be in keyboard hell today. Unless I plug my controller in. It won't work now anyway. The automatic brake is applied. Where's my HUD? There's my HUD. Oh, it's time to go anyway. Headlights. Front bright. Doors are closed and secure. You may depart as signals permit. I better turn the heater on. Surely I need the heater. Gauge lights. Must need a defroster. Oh, should I push that? No. Can't touch those buttons. We can get a coffee. Alright. Are we ready to go? Can't see the signals anymore. Let's go outside. Let's have a look. Green. That's really silly, isn't it? That's bad placement. Anyway, let's release the brakes. Down they go. I have to remember how to use the keyboard now. It's terrible. And away we go. Sounds a little echoey. These things were often described as honorary steam engines because of that smoke. So we cruise out of Boston South. Richie Peach says the longest town name stations on that line. Yeah, I remember that one. It's like this long. It's huge. 30-something letters or something crazy. And totally unpronounceable unless you are a local person. I suppose we should behave ourselves. Does it have a bell? It does have a bell. How about that? It's got a tinkle bell. There is Boston. I suppose it's not that different a layout to today, although it's much more built up, obviously, today. That signal gantry's in the same place. That's the one that I have spattered on a few occasions coming through there. Our next stop is Boston Back Bay, just round the corner. Metro says ALCo PAs were fitted with EMD prime moves due to their Winston 201A engines having mechanical issues. Well, there you go. That looks like an RS-3 coming the other way, I think. Maybe. Let's pop down and have a look. It's got a little while before we have to stop. Railway post office van. Looked like it was full of mail. Probably go back to our train, shouldn't we? Nice heavyweight old steel cars, which are probably wood under steel cladding. As we cruise on to Boston Back Bay. Richie Pete says he's not local, but he can pronounce the word. I'm impressed, sir. You have my respect. You really do. And Metra says, I can drive my way. Really? However, he still wants me to use the bell and use the horn. So, I could stand on my head with my underpants on my head and drive that way. That would be okay, wouldn't it? NJTE says, back then FRA regulations are much stricter than they are today. Actually, it's the other way around, NJTE, but that's okay. It's the FRA enforced 2000L and 2005. Well, this isn't 2005, young man. This is much longer ago. much longer. This is set in the 1950s. Where is Boston Back Bay? Why aren't we there yet? Are we there yet? Good. Countdown's still going. Wind down our big monster. Metra says Percy in Boston pulling his mail cars. Uh-oh. And NJT says, I assume the signal gantries became centenary gantries once electrification came through. Probably. And Metra says he can't recognise the layout of Boston, and Richie Peach says the accellers are missing. Hello, Ferramero. Suppose I should start thinking about slowing down, given I don't know how this thing breaks. Let's go to initial. Doesn't have an initial. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Pressure maintaining. What does that mean? Come on. Let me brake, you bastard. Lap. God, how many... This is going to be a nightmare. I'm just going to let it release the brakes entirely. Back to lap. Come on. Come on. Back to lap. Good God, you have to hold those keys for a long time. Oh, is he going to pull this off? Oh, look at that. Still in the platform. Surprising, but still in the platform. I miss having rail driver. Just lately it doesn't work with Train Sim all that well. I don't know what's changed. Metra says halfway between Boston South and Back Bay looks like Chicago in the 1920s, but remade in the 1980s. Oh well. NJT says he hates all the car dependency he's seeing. It's time to go. It's time to go. Brakes off. Brakes. They don't go to release. They don't go back to running by themselves, so I have to do that. Hopefully I didn't just overcharge. It looks alright. And just for you guys. I didn't deceive the back of the train was in the platform then, was it? Ooh, no it wasn't. The back carriage was not in the platform. Naughty back carriage. NJT says he might not chat. That's okay. You're going to rake a trampoline of leaves. Well, don't spike the thing. I had an excellent day out on the oily girl yesterday. Good fun. I can certainly see why they don't let you out on the oily before you start learning coal, though. Although I actually kind of think that it would be advantageous to learn the oily first, because you get such a direct impact on what the steam engine's doing. Whereas with coal, everything's about 5 or 6 minutes later. Everything you do has a very slow burn reaction, whereas the oily, it's immediate. It's an old English church asset there. Sure, I've seen that on other routes. But apart from that, it looks like it's got about the right sort of flavour. These feel like American buildings. These would have been all new here. All the rage. What are you doing, train? Why are you making noises? Why did it make brake noises? Nothing changed. How weird. They allowed to be made here. Another little RS-3. They're still not allowed to go faster yet. Sounds like we're going past a factory where they make things by hitting them with hammers. Sky's nice. I have to wonder if that's the Armstrong sky. because it's nicer than the normal TS sky. It's much nicer clouds. I don't know. Off goes the black smoke as we go under the bridge. I certainly understand why they don't keep the black smoke up. Yeah, when I first saw this route announced, I kind of thought it'd be boring because it looked like it only had the one express train. And it looked like it was just an end-to-end run, and I'm thinking, that's not much fun. But no, having a look at the scenarios that it comes with, they're actually quite good, and they're quite varied. And you've got everything from passenger stuff to freight and locals and commuter and long-range stuff and all sorts of things. So I actually think it's kind of cool. Much cooler than I initially thought. Hello, cat. I'll be a video, dude. Uh-oh. Slow it down, cat. Watching you all. Coming into a freight yard now. Watching the train now. Wants to eat it. Bit coming. Gotta use these crazy brakes again. Back in the cab. Did that actually do anything when I went into service then? I don't think so. There we go, that's better. Would have been better if it did it when I asked it to. Here we go. Still a bit quick, but you know. These folks won't mind, will they? Their coffee went everywhere, but that's alright. They're from Boston. Or is it Boston? I think it's Boston. Daniel Robert Jarrett. Yes, the cat is often thinking, what am I doing here? She turns up on stream sometimes. We're allowed to go really fast now. Let's go. Notch 8. Let's get some smoke. I think we're in a bush. Driver clearly saw me hiding in the bush there. Going bloody gunzels. What are you doing in the bush? Should we ask quiz questions? We should ask quiz questions, shouldn't we? I should find a pen. A pad. Right. Does. Alrighty. NJTE confirms it's Worston, and this is now the Worcester line of MBTA. Keep that under your hat, NJTE, because you're answering a quiz question. Anyway, what is NYC short for in the context of this route? And Metra's first on the board with points. Congratulations. Nicely done. And I'm going a bit quick. And I probably need to start thinking about slowing down anyway. Let's get a first service happening. And lap. Come on, lap, lap. Just let that sit, I think. It's 20 pounds. That should stop us in 1.5 miles, surely. Maybe? Oh, yeah, it's going down now. It's getting there. Speeding indeed, Mr. NJT. Yesterday, the chart recorder on our locomotive did actually show us reaching 97 miles an hour at one point on our 15-mile-an-hour railroad. Why? Wheel slip. It's a pretty funny chart to look at. We had a really difficult time getting up the hill into Gembrook yesterday. We were the first train on that part of the line for a week, and it was raining and it was covered in crap. And we had, was actually fortunate that there were two drivers. One was training me on that loco, because I've never been on it before. But the other two, between the two of them, they managed to pool their knowledge and pull off an awesome hill climb. And it was all summed up by one little kid who stuck his head out of the side of the train after we'd stopped and started sliding backwards for a little while. And he goes, "What are you guys doing?" This little kid is about 4, maybe 5. And the answer was lots. I'm just glad I wasn't firing it on coal yesterday, because firing on oil was fine, but firing that on coal, I would have lost my fire quite a few times. It would have been a very hard day. Oh, lap. Thank you. You have to press the keys for a really long time for these brakes. And it's the older version of the script. It doesn't have the rail driver mode that gets rid of them silly notches. I know some people love the notches, but I don't. It'll stop. I have faith. Remember that, Gunzels? No trespassing. Newtonville, folks. Newtonville. Those who are getting off here, get your stuff and get off. It's quite a unique bogie on these locomotives. They're all independently articulated, independently sprung. Articulated this way, not this way. Quite cool. Hello, Brad. It is a very different Boston, you're right. What mountain range does the BnA traverse? Daniel Robert Jowett says he was doing a service on Horseshoe Curve earlier and nodded off, and somehow a train rolled back and connected up to the train that was following behind me. Yeah, that'd be funny. I could understand how you'd nod off on Horseshoe Curve. Powering along. Only making 90 amps though, that seems unlikely. Strange. But anyway, it's picking up speed. We'll just leave it the way it is. We have 12 miles to go to Framingham. Lighting kind of suggests the headlights are on in the slug that's trailing behind this one. Got a crew in it too. How interesting. Oh well. Lowered it down a little for this 50-mile section that's coming up. Berkshire's is correct, Brad MacArthur. Brad also on the board with the first one. Cup of tea. What's it doing over there? So how is everybody this weekend? Happy Easter to those who celebrate today. Happy Easter to those who celebrate tomorrow. I think it's, is it the end? No, the end of Ramadan's next week. Orthodox Easter is next week. Did I speed up again just as I got into that zone? I did. I'm very naughty. I am okay. Green on the signal? At least I think it is. It's green, green and red. How do I interpret that? Well, the points are set straight, so we're not going around the corner. That's good. Sorry, lady, that train's going the other way. That's really loud considering how far away it is. Just gone midnight for Daniel. Probably has by now for Richie Peach as well. NJTE's on spring break. We don't have the spring break concept in Australia, we do a summer break. And it used to be they avoided the hottest months of the year, which was December and most of January, or the end of December and most of January for the school. being out of school because no one wanted to be in school during the hottest months of the year, but now the hottest months of the year are end of February and March, so life. This locomotive is quite powerful, it seems. It accelerates quite quickly, to keep an eye on it. This is a multiple choice question. Which end of the New York Central is represented in this route? A. North, B. East, C. South, or D. West? Richie Peach says they have something called half term. Speedo's reading higher than the HUD. The Speedo's saying about 66, 67, and the HUD's saying 64.5. How strange. Richie Peach got the right answer, because it is east. Brad got it with a B, which is kind of the way I was expecting it to be answered. So I tell you what, I'll just give you both points, because that's easier. And hopefully it doesn't turn out to be one of those butterfly flaps its wings things and the universe ends. Another little industry there. Sometimes when I go to honk the horn, it does it straight away like that time, and sometimes it doesn't do it at all. Very strange. 6 miles to Framingham. I was trying to remember if I was actually going to do the full run of this, or was I going to go on to something else? No, I'm going to do the full run, just looking at my little thing. We got the sideways one. I think the clicky-clacky of the wheels is maybe a little overemphasized. Because you notice the locomotives don't do it, only the carriages. But surely they'd all do it. You scraped your hand in, JT. Hopefully not on something rusty. This route is really rather long in reality. How many miles of it are represented in the game? In this DLC, I should add. Because this route exists in several DLC. Crest the top of the hill, I think. Petra says 19. NJT says 50. Richie Peach says 75. Clearly none of you have looked at the Steam page. And just out of interest, Metro, we've already done more than 19 miles. We're rolling down the hill here. Brad MacArthur is correct with 98. Well done, Brad. On a roll today. Three miles to Framingham. Laugh out some voluminous clouds of global warming. More industrial sightings. Getting into some switching a little later. Two miles to Framingham. Let's have a look at the route. It's rather a long one. It's so long that you can't actually see it all when you zoom out. So there's a bit to it. There's some extra branches coming off here and there. Quite a few of the freight scenarios use these. It's a fairly heavy brake application. That'll teach me from doing it outside the cab. Might work out though, I think. Gentlemen, next stop is Framingham, or Framingham. If you're getting off here, please collect your... This is the 1950s, so we didn't have silly things like circus animals. Companion bears. So get your belongings together, clip your children back into their leashes, and get off the train. More industries over there. This is back when America actually made things and didn't just do what Australia does as well and just import everything from China. The wonders of science want to know, do the gates work? Ah, not emergency. They do, look. The locomotive I am driving is a PA. And it probably does wreck a quiz question, but, you know, care factor. It is indeed an ALCo PA. Do I see a modern excavator over there in this 1950s world? I don't think modern excavators actually existed in this time frame. I don't think they'd been invented yet. Zoom in on the anachronism. The 1970s van as well. Pretty sure they were still manufacturing just bulldozers. Welcome to Framingham. I love the sidings that go through the platform. This is kind of cool, actually. Get out of the way. Hello, Major Lan. You ring the bell when you're coming into platforms. It's the main time you do it. You can stop now, train. All good. Doors are open down there. Let's go have a look quickly before they shut. Ooh, mailbags. Milk. Excellent. Nuclear waste. Even better. How about in the passenger carriages? Can we see in here? Yeah, we can. Would be a little uncomfortable at this height. Let's pop up a little. How you doing? What are you off to today? Are you getting off here? No? Damn it. Tickets. Shortest conductor in the world here. Tickets. It's our buddy, the serial killer. He's back. It's time to go, isn't it? Bye, serial killer. Brad MacArthur sees it's an A1A. Didn't have any Australia. Yes, we do. We do have some like this. I don't think there's any in service anymore, but we did. These days they tend to power all the axles. Aha, I've just given away a quiz question. It could be Charles Bronson, Major Lan. You could be right there. Anybody see the mustache on the brakeman there? That's a serious mustache. Will I be speeding before the back of the train hits the 65 mile an hour zone? That's the question. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. Success. Alrighty, next question. Does the line include any branch lines? What did that say? Ah, there you go. State of Maine products. See, they were proud of themselves once. £80,000. That's quite a lot. Metra is first with the yes. And no, it doesn't have the Providence and Staunton branches. Metra, that's wrong. But I'll give you a point for the yes. So which locomotive builder is featured exclusively on this route? Ladies and gentlemen, now approaching Ashland. If you intended to get off here, tough, because we're not stopping. It's kind of a gratuitous bridge shot. There you go. Even though I didn't get the engines, it's still worthy of a screenshot. Why not? The American Locomotive Company and ALCo, that is correct. And who got it out first? I think it was NJTE. And Metro, you answered the next question. What does ALCo stand for? So I'll just give you the points for that. I don't think there are any PAs that are actually still in service, at least not in the US. There are potentially some in Mexico. Some did go south, and they may still be alive. There are some preserved ones in the US. And a couple of those are capable of operating, but I don't think they do. These are the granddaddy for today's locomotives. A cute little caboose. So we'll go on to the next question. There are 4 locomotives that come with this route. Who can tell me what they are? Lex Dark says, I always thought they made things from foil. That's ALCo in Australia. I think you may be thinking of ALCoa anyway. Because ALCoa does actually exist in America, but it's the Aluminum Company of America, whereas here it's the Aluminium Company of Australia. Go figure. Although I have to say, and normally I make fun of Americans for spelling things incorrectly, but I have to say aluminum is actually more correct than aluminium. Because it was invented by a French person. And the French people do actually say, well, not invented, discovered by a French person, and the French do actually say aluminum. But they say it in a sexy French accent. Because, face it, all words are sexy in French. Metro has 3 of the answers. There's 1 more to go. You're giving a little too much information, but I'll give you the points anyway, Metro. NJT says, locomotives made by ALCo. Duh. Who's clearly upset that he's raking leaves off a trampoline instead of being able to Google the answers. Nice little river over there. And Brad MacArthur's got the last one, the HH600. Well done, Brad. You got the others as well, but... I'm about to beat my face into a signal. Oop, no, missed it. This route is unusually equipped with scenario... Ooh! Error! 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 The hoses aren't connected. Error! Oh well. It's all good. I like the lens flare, but I think that's coming from RWE, not from the game, really. 15 miles to Worcester. Time for some smoke. How many scenarios do you get with this route? You get an unusually large number. Not the most. I have seen a route that had 28 scenarios, so that was probably the highest I've ever seen. This man is a porn star. You can tell by his mustache. This one isn't. You can tell by his Casey Jones hat. He's just a gunzel. But he's got a strangely happy smile on his face because he knows he's sitting next to a porn star. Metro goes for 12. Which is correct. Patriotal61 says it was originally called Aluminium American Way. Well, it was aluminum the American way. But it got changed in Europe, already been spread in America. In French, it's still aluminum. Mr. Brad says, like a lot of other words they use in the USA, no longer in other English-speaking countries. Indeed. Major Land suggests it's Magnum and his friend in a mission. Could be. We're going a bit quick, aren't we? We're going to get there ahead of timetable, I think. Perhaps I should knock the power off a little. Maybe a bit of gentle braking. Gentle enough? That's knocking it down. Now approaching Westboro. If you want to get off here, please prepare to leap. We are slowing down to approximately 70 miles an hour to travel through the station. You need to run really fast if you want to get off here. Westboro Station. What are the modelled endpoints of the line? And go for the cities. Don't try and be smart and tell me the yards or anything. That's a strange transmission tower. Let's have a look. Where did it go? There it is. Oh, it's a direction changer. That's kind of cool. Imagine the engineering that would go into something like making a 90-degree direction change in power lines. That'd be a nightmare. Utter nightmare. Cities, Metro. Boston and Albany. Not quite Brad MacArthur being Mr. Smartass. Not quite. It doesn't actually get to Albany, sadly. It's kind of funny. It's named Albany, but it doesn't actually go there. Uh-oh. Nice try, though. Major Lane says the train game looks great. Playing Train Sim World 3 recently. This is Train Sim World 3's granddaddy. This game. This is Train Sim Classic. It has its roots all the way back in Microsoft Train Simulator, of which some bits of it still live in this game. Not much, but a little bit. I think the rain effects on Windows is the bit that still exists from the original. But that's actually in TSW3 too. Those rain effects. Or similar ones anyway. I'll just let this keep gradually slowing down, letting gravity do its job. So we're coming into a slower station. Brad MacArthur's got it. Boston and West Springfield. Well done, Brad. Not a station overshoot, Lexic Dark. Because we're not supposed to stop there. Be nice. Because if it was a station overshoot, this would happen. See, that would happen if it was a station overshoot. But clearly it's not. Hello, CCT Mitch. Happy Easter to you as well. Hope you got some nice chocolate. Major Len says, oh, the great granddaddy of TSW3. Yes. It is actually quite a cool game. It does explode sometimes, but that's kind of endearing, I suppose. It's a bit frustrating sometimes. But mostly it's okay. It's going through a redevelopment phase at the moment to update a lot of the technology in it, which is quite cool. It seems to be progressing reasonably well. They're being careful so that they don't kill all the old content. So not all of it will get updated. You can often find it on special. Actually, let me just check and see. I think it expired, but let me just check if the Humble Bundle with Train Simulator is still active or not. Just have a quick look. I think no, it's expired. There was a way to buy it that was really cheap, but it's expired, unfortunately. Just had a look. Probably wouldn't even bother honking for a backwards crossing like that. Where are we? We're clearly inside something. Oh no, we're outside a carriage. Impressive. Ooh, that's better. It's funny that I can hear the bell from here, but not the horn. Powering back up again. Brad says TSW3 explodes too. It crashes more from you than TSC does. Yeah, I get it the other way around, but actually when I'm in beta, I have to say it kind of explodes a lot, but that just goes with the territory, really. Because the idea is the beta team and the official QA people find all those things before they get out, but we don't find everything, sadly. Because when you've got millions of other players, which there are now, it's people tend to do things differently and weirdly and creatively. think Worcester's the last one on this one. 'Tis indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes' time, we'll be arriving at Worcester Union Station. All change. Your luggage will be managed for you by the porters at the baggage car. Please see the porters to get your suitcase back. And if you forget your suitcase, this being the 1950s, we will dispatch a man to bring it to you at your home. Because there's no privacy, so we'll just go inside it and find out who it belongs to. So these days they don't open the suitcases because of privacy, they just keep them, and if no one claims them, they auction them. How is that better? I'd be quite happy if they opened it and brought it to my house, that would be cool. But anyway, Major Lane says it's sexy. Very cool. Trains, kits, etc. says emergently. Okay then. Hello, David Park. I met one of my subscribers yesterday. She came up to me on the platform at Gembrook. I was eating my lunch. And she was chatting about trains. And she told me she had a YouTube channel, so I said, what is it? I'll look it up. And she told me, and looked it up on my phone and discovered she was one of my subscribers. How about that? Hello, David Park. Just saying hi since you can't stay. Oh well, that's sad, but thank you for dropping by. Come on, lap, lap! Now just release it. Back to running. Come on, running. Yay. That's quite possible, trains, kits, etc. Feel free to say hello. If you spot me, I'm back there tomorrow. What am I on tomorrow? I can't remember. Let me have a look. As we roll into the station. Let me just find the roster page. See what I'm on and who I'm with tomorrow. Yes, you can load it. Go on. That's better. What are we? Monday the 10th. I am out with Graham George. I'm on the Garrett. How did I end up on the Garrett? Okay. Fair enough. I actually thought I was on 2134 with Gavin and Graham, but it turns out I'm on the Garrett with Graham George and Matt Cantle. There you go. My guess would be Graham and Gavin are planning on examining someone and I got bumped. That would be my bet. Ooh, I better slow down some more. Instead of looking at train rosters. Trailer train. You don't see those anymore. They were replaced by container specials. Lexic Dark says, what is this? Suddenly Monday, but I thought it was still Punday. It is Monday. In which state does the modelled line fall within? So not the whole thing, the modelled portion. Massachusetts. Very good, Metra. You even spelt it right. Can you spell Mississippi without Googling and copying and pasting? Ignoring the little tiny railroads, 3 fairly large railroads merged to become the Boston and Albany for 10 points each. What are they? You should say, what were they? That would be better grammar. What were they? Because they're not around anymore. Well done, Metra. Trains and bread. And Metra's got the first answer wrong. Bop, bop. That's a very interesting looking building there, isn't it? The Union Station. It's quite impressive. It's hard to get a tiny amount of braking, but I succeeded that time. No, Mr. Brad, not the New York Central. Three predecessor railroads to the Boston and Albany. When we stop here, I'm not going to open the doors straight away because I want to go look at the station. And I don't want the scenario to just disappear on me. This is a very short platform for a major station. We're going to roll through it, just the most of our trains even in the platform, I think. That should have most of it in the platform, I think. Yep. Brake pipe over reduction. How do you get a brake pipe over reduction? That just means it's at 0. But anyway. You can keep doing that. That's kind of cool. Nice model. Someone put a lot of effort into that. Anyway, let's get the doors open. What does it look like from the back? Most stations look ugly from the back. That one's quite nice. Don't mind that station at all. There's the Legionnaire's disease machine. That's a serious yard, that is. Well, there we go. That's the end of this one. Keep answering the questions, because we'll be going on to another thing. Should we do freight now, or should we do another passenger? Good. We arrived nearly on time. Yes, we did. The new crew will be able to depart at the scheduled time. We only arrived nearly on time because I went really fast in a few places. So what do you reckon? Let's start a poll. Freight or passenger? And just to trigger people, there we go. Poll's gone out. Let's see what you want. And what have we got here? The Western Railroad. Yes, that's one. The Boston and Worcester is another. Brad's got 2 of them. And the Hudson and Berkshire. No. Boston and Worcester, and you've got 2 there, Brad. There's 1 more to go. Major Land says very nice rail sections in this station. Indeed. Looks like it's in. We're doing some goods. Okay. A goods it is. Now, which goods was I going to run? The Worcester West Freight. I'm going to do the one with all the switching in it at the end, because I know not everybody likes switching. And I think I was going to do part 3 of this one. This was the one I was going to do. Lexic Dask asked, did my son give me a video card for ongoing services rendered? Oh, I don't think so. Our task, deliver the front 11 freight cars to Palmer Yard, track 3, and then pick up the outbound freight cars on track 2, and finally reassemble our train. Very good. Uncouple the rear 15 freight cars and the caboose. Alrighty then. You want to couple it between 812 and 952. There must be a lot of carriages in this. $812 and 952. There they are. Clunk. Oh, I can't do it. Why not? Bastard. I'll have to go do it the hard way. Have I gone too far? I've gone too far. $812, 952. There they are. Apollosaurus. Move ahead far enough to reverse into yard track 3. Manual switching is required. We'd better check what's going on then. Drop off all 11 freight cars. Bound freight. So that would be me, the red one, wouldn't it? Looks like the switches are fine at the moment. Alright, let's do this thing. Oh, the rail driver's working now. No, it's not. Only the horn button works. That's annoying. Oi. You're in running. Good. Does this work? No. Why does the horn work and nothing else works? Did I just roll back and couple up again? No, they still show us uncoupled. Pretty sure I released the brakes. Is the independent on as well? Yep. The independent was on as well. I don't know if the gauges actually do anything. Maybe they do. It's almost at 0. There we go, now they're at 0. And we're moving! Yay! Oh, there's lots of people guessing still. I think Palmer Yard 3... I'm not pulling the whole train, am I? Not happy, Jan. I think they recoupled. Let's just let that come to a stop, because it will, sooner or later. Let's just scroll back down the train, because I think they coupled together again. 445, 901. 952 and 812. They did. They coupled again. There we go. The Albany and Schenectady. No. Mohawk and Hudson. No. Hudson and Boston. No. Got wood. Now, while he's rolling forward, we want to put them in West Palmer Yard 3. So that's that second track there. So let's just start setting up for that. So those points are fine. Those are fine. So we don't want to go too much further, do we? Because we've got to set back. So much better with the mouse. Come on. Did I go far enough? Haha. Switch. And I think the other ones were all fine. So we're going to run along this path here. And we're going to go into that one. I think that's correct. Alright, let's use the moose. Reverser. Major Land enjoys the F7 Clinchfield Road in TSW3. It is cool, Clinchfield. It's got a bit of variety to it. My headlight went on and went off again. Brakes still not released. They didn't release. I don't like these brakes. I think I've broken it. There we go. Suddenly it's 0. Whack. I shouldn't keep them in release because it's a bad place to keep them. So it'll overcharge the train. Back we go into Mrs. Palmer's 3. A rendering session surely would be about making people into candles. Clearly there's some German techno playing in the cabin there. Back we go. My controller plugged in. It is plugged in. Trying to remember if controllers work with TSW3 or not, with Train Sim Classic or not. Hello, Train Master. How are you? We're just stashing some cars in a siding at the moment. I am okay. Major Land, make sure you say hello to Colonel Land and General Land. Perhaps Lieutenant Land, Sergeant Land. How are we doing up the back here? No problemo. I'm liking the noises from the freight cars. Liking that quite a lot. I reckon that'll probably do, won't it? We're in. Got to get just to the right spot. There we go. There's always something funny about flying through trains. Let's pop over this side so we've got room. Come and uncouple this beastie. Move to yard 2 and add 12 freight cars to the rear of the loco set. That's where we were before. Now, I'm pretty sure yard 2 is where we were before, so that was just on our train. Yep, we're going back where we were. That's fine. Or were we in yard 1? I'm confused. Better go have a look. That was our train. So it's the outermost one. So what's that on? That's on yard 1. So we actually have to go to this one. Alright, we're collecting some carriages as well. Fair enough. That's fine. We're going to pick up some wood. Interesting that that says full apply and apply, because I would have thought it was actually fast apply, but anyway, that's fine. Backwards. Brakes off. You've probably been in Wire Shark too, Mr. Lexic Dark. I think that's going the right track. We'll know in a minute. I think I just dyed my engines. I'm going to start them again. No. Puffballs. And we're back. Good you like to keep it local. Trains, kitchen, etc. Do we have openable windows? Ooh. Look at that. Got doors. Can we open doors? Can. Radiator fan control. It's a fair bit of stuff active in here. That's cool. Keep going. 3 cars. 2 cars. 1 car. 1/2 a car. Actually, I think my angle was bad. 1.5 cars. Oops. 1 car. Half a car. Coupling up. Turn to yard 1 and couple the remaining freight cars and caboose. Very good. We shall do that. I think we're going to go full fang now. Let's go outside for some fang action. Trains, kits, etc. says Pacific Electric was a much less interesting company. Very few products. Yes. The jokes abound today. Very good. We haven't got all 3 of the lines yet, but since we don't have all 3, I won't ask the next question. So the line's first director was a man named Charles Sprague Sargent. What was his major initiative for the line? No, I didn't miss the New York and New England, Brad. It's not correct. That was at the other end, and that came later. You did, however, get the answer to the question I didn't ask, which was, what other line did the BnA consume a few years later? Because you did actually answer the Hudson and Berkshire, so I suppose I could give you the points for that. But we're still missing the third one. From what 3 railroads merged to become the Boston and Albany, but we're looking at the man's initiative. And being an aristocratic gentleman, I'm sure Lexic Dark that his main initiative was routing, but no. Let's just say he was well before his time in his major initiative. Just hurry up and get back to our train without crashing into it too hard. Do you know the 33% of people that didn't want freight bailed? That's how strongly they feel. Sound advice. Hello, Linny BC. Alex the CSX foamer. Fair enough. Doing a little bit of shunting. Or switching, as they would call it locally. So we'll move on from the initiative, and when we come back, that will now be a game changer question. We'll come back to it later. So how did a botanist like Charles end up being the director of a railroad? This one's already worth 30 points, so I'll be a little bit surprised if you find it. I've been surprised before. Train. Got a long way to go yet. It says Sprague started a coal shipping company. That was his dad. But how did someone who was a botanist, was well known for his artistic talents and definitely well before his time, how did he end up in charge of a railroad? No qualifications whatsoever, and he was only a botanist because he used to go out into his own garden, or his dad's garden, press flowers and leaves and things in his books. His dad was a banker. So how did his son Charles end up being the director of the railroad? One car. Half a car. Doubling up. Move towards the mid-yard exit via Palmer Yard 1 west ahead. Hold before the dwarf exit signal. Very good. Just do a charge and release on the rest of the train, because, you know, it's been sitting there forever. Probably should. And then after you've done that, you would do an equalising application. Just to make sure your brakes actually work before you go anywhere. That was not a bad guess. Alright, brakes off. Charge. 2 seconds for every 4 cars. And release. Forgot to check if I have to set any points. Do I have to check set any points? No, I don't think so. We shall come back to this question, and it's now a game changer. Alright. What architect designed most of the iconic stations on the route? Trains, kits, etc. asks, remember when the only brake was the loco's handbrake? Yes, and the reverser. and still operating that on the 12-inch gauge railway that you inhabit. That's cool. Where are you running a 12-inch? It's quite large. Seems necessary. Is this dwarf we're supposed to be heading to? That's the main yard exit. But where's the task? I'm confused. We're not on the right track, maybe. Oh no, we're on the right track. Just have to stop up here before the signal. Oh good, it is going down. This signal up here looks like it's red, so I don't really want to go through it. It says I have 0.77 miles to go, but there's a red signal right there. I think we'll stop it and see what the scenario does. Yep, that was good enough. Henry Hobson Richardson, well done, Brad. Eastern Suburbs, there's two. One private and one at the Scoresby Museum thing. Oh, I know the one. Scoresby one anyway. Work orders require us to wait for dispatcher clearance. And since we've all been very patient, let's go into part 4 and actually run this train now. That seems fair, doesn't it? Doing okay for time, so chucking in an extra one's not going to hurt anybody. I actually thought this one was running it, but no, it turned out to be switching. Got another one that's got tons of switching in it. It's raining. You are clear to depart Palmer. Expect a possible delay at Palmer Station for the passage of the Central Vermont passenger train, crossing our main. Clues to continue. We have got a yellow there, so that's fine. Do we need to do anything with points? No, it looks like we're crossing out onto the main now. Alright. Away we go. Actually get onto that brake handle now. There we go. That still hasn't released the main brake though. I think we confused it again. Supply. There it goes, all the way down to 0, just like that, just because I moved the handle. That looks a bit like a bug to me. Glass lights, number lights, headlights on bright now. We're going to be moving properly. Windscreen wipers. Screen wiper button somewhere. And be a brake valve. Where's windscreen wipers? Oh, wipers. There we go. The Scoresby one just has some steam back in action. They have 12-inch gauge H-class hiding into sheds as well. It's a beast. It would be. Happy Harry. Excellent. Gippsland Model Engineering Society runs Traralgon, runs steam on about that gauge too. I thought theirs were 7 1/4. Lexic Duck. Brad MacArthur says Charles Sprague Sargent was an early conservationist, conservation of American forests. He was also a director of the railroad. Now, it says I should be delayed here, but that signal's green. So I'll throttle off in case something dumb happens. Mechanical belt. The laughingly described refrigerator car, because they chuck dry ice in it. Very good. I don't see any other signal up there. There isn't one for ages, so not delayed at all. Let's take her out of here then. Through the autumn trees. That sounds like a scenario that didn't quite work properly and that we're probably supposed to get held up, and we're now in front of that train. Not such an unusual thing, but its power gauge works. Let's get some more questions out, because we're still on the first page. What is the oldest year of operation of the Boston and Albany and its predecessor railroads? So they have dual gauge, is what you're saying, Lexic Duck. Whack. I don't know about you lot, but there's more bass than my headphones can handle in this locomotive. Much earlier than 1954. This angle's better. This might even be a relatively nice screenshot. Get it at just the right moment, like about there. Get back in the cab since there's a signal coming. "1831, says Brad. Correct. 1831 it is. What competitor railway did the BnA keep away from Boston? It is 1831. Game over, says Major Land. Not quite. Hello, Anarchist Angel. Does this have dynamics? I hope it does. How do you do it? Clearly does, but how do you actually make them work? Must be a range selector or something somewhere. I don't see anything though. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way with air brakes. It's a very light application. That should hold it. The reason I was looking for it having dynamics... Oh, actually no, that's using too much power, so no, it doesn't actually have... Oh no, it does, it's got a braking dial. So there must be a range switch somewhere. Don't see anything. Oh well. Someone will figure it out one day. The rain stopped now. Seems like it. Let's kick these brakes off. That's a bit rock and rolly. Must be some really high quality track. It'd be nice to get some New York Central and some PRR stuff. Ooh, that's a nicely sculpted corner. Nice tangent entry. Nice angles. Well done whoever laid that bit of track. Super elevation's not that easy in this game. It's always gratifying when you see someone's gone to the trouble of doing it. Where you see the trains tilting over in the corners. Imagine living right near this crossing. Those signals look yellow, don't they? No one's found the answer to that question yet. Trying to see the colour of the next signals, but I think they're around the corner. So in and out of New York, there were two major passenger railroads. Oh, look, a very modern-looking quarry with modern-looking tractors and things in this 1950 route. In fact, I recently streamed the other one. These ones are yellow as well. Yes, that's true. New York Central and Pennsylvania. So, which was the competitor railroad, given this is New York Central? What was the competitor, Brad? I'm so subtle. Anachronism. Where did it go? There it is. Anachronism. Modern tractor. Naughty. There actually are 1950s tractor assets for this game. How come these ones are green and the next one's yellow? I guess I'm following something else that's slower than me. Anarchist Angel gets the answer. Sneaks in on Brad's coattails. First points for Anarchist Angel on the board. Congratulations. What modern operator runs the BnA today? I think Anarchist Angel stole your answer, Brad. But I'll give you the points for answering the question. It wasn't part of the questions. It's alright, Anarchist Angel. I gave him the points for answering the question. It wasn't part of the questions. $2:30 a.m. Trying to go to bed early, not 4:30. Ah. Oh, good night, Anarchist Angel. Sleep well. Wherever you are, you managed to keep warm. Our heating's on here for the first time this year. Finally got cold. Took the house a good week to cool down, but it eventually did. Yellows again up there at Oak Street. What am I notching up for? I don't notch down. That's why I want Rail Driver. CSX, well done, Brad MacArthur. You're certainly on a roll today. Major Land says this route looks very 50s. It is very 50s. Very much so. It's set in 1954, I think, from memory. And Major Land says the blue New York Central Loco is sexy. Is it blue? I thought it was black. Maybe it's one of those weird blacks that's a little bit blue or something. You prefer to sleep in the cold. I prefer cold air as well. Sad that you're on the streets at one point, and glad that you're not anymore by the sounds of it. Unless, of course, you're watching this from the phone in a rough sleeping bag somewhere. Which is always possible, I guess. We have yellow signals again. I think we're following a stopping passenger train. I think that's what the problem is. It could be blue, Major Land. It could be. To me it looks black, but, you know, who knows? Next question, please. What was the railway's initial competitor? Hopefully not to derail. And I'm glad you have a roof these days. I noticed a new bit of PC in a podcast I listened to the other day, which called people the unhoused. It's like, just call the people what they are. Recognize them. They are homeless. They are people. Pretty simple, really. The Erie Canal. Well done, Brad. Irie, maybe. Just for you, Major Land. Next question, please. It doesn't run on this route. Actually, it does run on this route, I think. But what was the most famous New York Central passenger train named? I think it does run on this route, actually, thinking about it. Yes, it did. Just checking, it did. That's some slightly more modern looking industry there. Look, 2 yellows and a red. I better slow down then. The New York Express. No. So the signal following it's green. Go figure. Brad's busy Googling. While you're there, Brad, Google the other name trains. But I'll give you some a more more of a clue about that one so you can actually find them, because they were a little bit hard to find. That's a nice asset up there. Building there, it's quite nice. I like that one. Could be 1950s or industrial England. I thought maybe we were going to divert then, but no. My other half. This is the 1950s. I should have a partner. I think we do from outside. Wow! Twins! A little local freight. Some oilies. Cruise along. Having a fairly heavy application at the moment. There are other named trains. Let me give you a clue. Name the remainder of the named trains that ran on this route according to the official Guide of the Railways of 1952. So if you can find that, you'll find the answer to both questions. Gets back up to 110 or whatever it is it should release. Nice. It's interesting that the gauge is holding that 20 pounds because the brake pipe's gone right back up to 90, so it should have in fact released. I think the gauge is just wrong though because the train's not slowing down anymore. In fact, it's speeding up and I want it to slow down some more. Now that's gone to 0. Should be enough to knock us down to the 15. Perhaps. As we come into a fairly extensive yard here. There we go, a little bit quick when I get in here, but that's okay. I think we are changing tracks here. We are. Excuse me. Nice flame squeal. Crawl through Springfield Station. Let's go up a bit. Is that signal red? No, mine's green. It's okay. It's all good. And there's the passenger train we were following, I think. The Wolverine is one of them, Mr. Brad. You can have 10 points for Wolverine. Lakeshore Limited isn't one of them. I was amazed at how industrious post-war America was. All of these freeways and things were all built pretty much straight after World War II. Gratuitous and massive bridge shot. The LODs on the reflections aren't quite right, are they? That's okay, as they say in the classics. Empire Express? No. It's interesting that the left-hand side of that bridge doesn't reflect and the rest does. There we go. Make it less obvious in the screenshot. As you do. Been cleared to enter the West Springfield Yard and proceed to receiving track 2, where we'll uncouple our freight cars. Very good. I think you're looking at a rather different source to me, Brad. The answers I have is the New England State, the New York Special, the Interstate Express, the Easterner, the Paul Revere, and the Iroquois, and the New England Wolverine. So we'll leave that question. We have a permissive yellow. Probably want to start slowing down a little bit though. About 20 pounds, that should be fine. Kick that off again. Moving on to the next question, and you've answered this one, Brad, so I'll give it to you. What Amtrak train runs the route today? And the answer is the Lakeshore Limited, which Brad had already guessed. There we go. And since we haven't got the answer to what the predecessor railroads were, I can't ask the next question. I can ask this one. Why were the railroads so successful in the Massachusetts area? Now, do we have to switch this thing? That looks fine. Looks like it's set it all up for us. This is quite nice. The yard looks nicely populated. Might be a little bit hard to find the answer to that question, you know, just thinking about it. Yeah, train skits, etc. I'll pay that because that's close enough. It's actually dense population, but yeah, that's what causes the traffic. I'll pay that. Where is the headquarters of the BnA? Note I say where is the headquarters of the BnA because it still exists, even though it's run by CSX. Brakeman's not quite in yet. Had to notch up again because I was losing too much speed in the points. I can't remember which Springfield the Simpsons live. I think they went for Springfield, Illinois, didn't they? In one of the more recent episodes, they did actually reveal which Springfield it was. Still not quite all in the yard there. Now, the scenario building possibilities for this route are quite good because it's got stopping points all over the place on its map, which I quite like. You can still add your own in scenarios when you're building one, of course, but if they're already there, it saves you the trouble. It's not often you see a train in Train Simulator Classic that's long enough that the back of the train's still popping in when you look backwards. Nearly all there. We're still after where the headquarters of the Boston and Albany is. It's only a shell company now. Is it back in yet? Nearly. Very nearly there. Then we'll run a local passenger, I think. No, headquarters is not in Springfield. Wait for him to get past the fouling point. Sounds like you're off, Major Land. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. New York it is, Brad. Well done. This railroad was one of the first railroads that was built in mountainous territory in the US, for standard gauge anyway. And they pioneered a concept in the US. Europe kind of already knew about this. And it meant that they designed a route, or they surveyed a route that was... it's been used on pretty much every mountain railroad since then. And it meant that they didn't need a rack or a cable system or anything else complex. Can anybody guess what the system is called? So I might give you some clues for this one because it's a little bit difficult. So, locomotives on a track, you describe the word adhesion. All our cars here, uncouple the freight cars. Clunk. Pull ahead and stop on the east near Banks 5, or a yard crew will take over the loco for servicing. Very good. I think I'm pulling my train again, aren't I? Oh no, it did come off. Now, where do I have to go? Yard advance 5. Looks like the points are just set for us to go there, so that's nice. Would be a land party, Brad. There's a big roundhouse over there. I don't know if it's got any locos in it. Let's go look. Oops. Whee. No, it doesn't. That's a bummer. Would have been nice to see that full of locos. What's our train? Oh, there he is. Major Land wants a land with TGV duplex race with 8 sections of railroad at 150 kilometres. Yeah, you could do that. That's the kind of thing LaserJet might do. This is one thing that Train Sim Classic still has over Train Sim World. massive yards that are actually usable with lots of rolling stock sitting in them. TSW hasn't quite got there yet. I reckon this thing must still have its brakes on. We'll move on from this one then. Sounds like it might have been a little difficult. Surprised Mitch didn't get it if he's still here. We are clear of the points, so we should be able to just stop here. In theory. And shut the beastie down. Assignment complete. Do, do, do. Major Land suggesting an ALCo FA1 freight race with 8 players. Could probably put that together if you tried hard enough. Let's go on to train 404. And I will leave you with chair for just a little while. I'll be right back while you think about the questions. Let me leave you with a question. The first Superpower 284 steam locomotives were deployed to the line. What were they called? And who built them? And I'll be right back. Apologies, I had some human requirements to take care of, and I'm impressed that most of you are still there. Alright, the Milford Local is a local train from the BA timetable. Blah 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 blah. We're gonna drive a train. Surprise! That one! Little RS-3. Sounds like an RS-3. Like an RS-3. Don't need wipers. What else can we turn on and off? Instrument lights. That'd be good. What's this one? Front headlights on. I hear another train. Or is it my train? Oh, there's another train. Look at that. Good-o. Got simple brakes. Pull ahead as soon as the signal clears. What signal? I don't see a signal. Anyone else see a signal? I'm tipping I'm nodding forwards. Clunk. Is our brake stands? Gonna power up this time? We did briefly. Uh-oh. I killed it. Ah, it's got a transition lever. Is that the problem? That's braking that way. Have another setting? No. There we go. Now I'm getting some power. There's more than just the reverse handle, Metro. Very squealy corners. Through the platform. I think I'm Nebworthing, because my train doesn't want to stop. Well, now it does. Very true, I did. But that's okay, I'm going to open the doors anyway. Won't let me. Bum. Well, this thing's brakes are horrible. No, I didn't power off completely either. Passenger service, let's go. Metro 14L did not exist in 1952, I'm sorry. Off we go to Natick. There's a remarkably modern truck and a remarkably modern school bus for a 1952 route. It's a bit of an immersion wrecker, isn't it? Having the modern stuff. Off we go to Natick. So no one guessed the locomotives. Oh, you got Lima Locomotive Works. Alright, I'll give you those points. The actual locomotive was a 282 Berkshire. In 1860, a parallel line to this railroad was abandoned. What was it called? And I'm just going to give the brakes a bit of a practice run. just to see how they go. Those strange brakes. Where are the brake gauges? I bet they are. Okay, I think I understand these brakes now. Correct, actually. They are a 284. How about that? Metra's right, people. It's twice in one day. In 1860, a parallel line was abandoned. What was it called? Ah, Brad, you've got an answer from one of the questions from ages ago. Did we put extra points on that question? No, we hadn't yet. But that was the 3 railroads. That was the last of the 3. Brake gauges are playing funny buggers again. They're very strange brakes. Hudson and Boston, yes, correct. Next question. In 1900, the New York Central took control of the BnA. How did they do it? That platform up there? I guess it is. Didn't go far enough for the game. 99-year lease. Correct, Brad. Well done. So even though the BnA officially merged with the New York Central, it was always called a subsidiary, and it kept its naming. Why was that? It does look like a 40 class. It also looks like the first version of the Victorian Railways T class. They did share a similar heritage, I think. That should do. It actually simulated the carriages rolling back when I stopped on the Independent. Here comes the man. There goes the man. Yeah, that was about the only difference, though. Brad says the first T-Class were flat tops, which they were, but they were flat and angled instead of being rounded like the RS-3. It's time to go anyway. Sorry, lady. You're too slow. We'll have to wait for the next one. Bye. Wellesley. The answer to that question might have been a little bit harder to find. The idea was to reduce issues with the bondholders, so they couldn't get sued because their bonds were suddenly worthless, or they didn't have bonds holders assuming that they now owned the New York Central. So the BnA formed the Boston Division later in life when the New York Central and Penn Central merged and later became consumed into Conrail. What did the workers call the Boston Division? Why is it making noises in the lap position? But it doesn't make noises in the apply position. Go figure. very modern looking buildings. Lexic Dark says nothing pleasant. I think it was very sentimental what they call the Boston Division. Hurry up, matey, or you'll miss out. I always think it's funny when you see character movements because someone, wherever she went, there she goes, someone actually thought what a girl's bum looks like when they walk and animated it. She walks through poles. Excellent. Time to go. Break off. No, off. There we go. True passenger style, straight to 100%. They actually call it the Boston and Albany. Today, what modern commuter railroad with suburban and regional services operates on part of this line? Wellesley Hills. How many stops have we got on this one? Oh, not a lot. I think the sound triggers at the wrong point on the handle. Just leave that on suck it and see how it goes. MBTA, Metro squeaks it in. And if you'd been quick enough, Brad, I would have given it to you anyway with the letters the wrong way around. Is it going to stop in the platform? With one brake application? I don't think it is. I think it's going to stop early. We've got to release them again. Have a nice building. That's better. Now they're on dim. We won't destroy people as we come into the platform. From the Wellesley Hills. What long-distance passenger operator continues to run today on these tracks? Brad is correct with Amtrak. I'm going to put this next one in the chat. See if you can find that and tell me how it's related. Albany Farms, next stop. Already on it, mate. Another nice group of assets. Green on the signals. See if I can get this with one brake application this time. Try that. Gut feel is it's going to be stopping early and I'll have to release. Yep, for sure. Anyone figured out what GUSN-171267 is yet? Correct, Brad. It's a very interesting collection too. Strongly encourage people to have a look at it. I was using it to look at historic photos of stations and things, and I found a couple of other collections that were relevant as well. Tickets, please. Tickets. 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 Got your tickets here. Ooh, I'd be watching out for him. He's that type. Serial killer material. Mind you, you don't look much better. Out there. Every gunter would stand here. If we go to Riverside. Weather's quite nice in Melbourne, Brad. It's cold, but it's sunny. Yesterday was quite a miserable day to be on the trains, I have to say. I was seriously impressed with my two drivers' driving abilities in the slippery conditions, though. Between the two of them, they took a train that was right on its load limit, up the one in 30, successfully. They've got lights on at both ends. Did I turn lights on at the other end? No, they're off. Rage game. .1 miles to Riverside. Oops, wrong way. Drizzle in Bentley. Sunny in Afghanistan. Brake pipe reacts faster than the EQ reservoir. That's a little NQR. Is it going to stop? That's the question. Maybe. Let's just let it go and see what happens. Who designed the ALCo PA locomotive? The answer is it's going to stop too quickly. It's red for the other line, not for me. It's alright. This side. Another gratuitous screenshot, as you do. I reckon it's going to stop a bit early again. Lexic Dark says rainy and cold up in the hills, going to light a fire. Fair enough. I've got the gas thing running. No, I didn't say the answer. I said who designed it. The person, Metra, not the company. Running out of tasks to ask questions in. We're taking this one right into the burbs. Ray Patton. Very good, Brad. What is the AAR wheel arrangement for the ALCo PA? And I think someone said it earlier in the stream. From memory. Here we run as an express into Boston South, making only 2 intermediate stops. It's not very express then, is it? Didn't notice that 15-mile limit there. No one saw a thing. A1A. Whoa, it's not quite A1A, Brad. It's A1A and what? It's got 2 bogies, remember? And Brad gets the points with A1A, A1A. Correct. Next question, please. What does A1A-A1A mean? Correct, Brad. Well done. The PA is known as an honorary steam engine. Why? Lexic Dark with honorary points. I only give you points because I know it annoys you. Loading, loading, loading. Miniature Sydney Harbour Bridge. Alright, Newtonville, it's time to bugger off. I already gave Brad the points, Lexic Dark. It's okay. Why is the PA known as an honorary steam locomotive? Gonna get in a bit early. Yeah, I can imagine that happening. Brad says he recalls reading the A1A was no good in Australia as the powered axle wheels had a reduced diameter after a while, causing the idle wheel being larger, reducing weight on the power wheels, causing slippage. Smoke it is, Brad. Yeah, they did have turbochargers in the PAs, but they were very, very laggy because it was very, very early turbocharger technology. Do any Boston and Albany's PAs survive today? Specifically, Boston and Albany PAs. No one else's PAs, just theirs. And indeed, Lexic Dark, it does look like a steam engine. You know, I'll have to give you more points for that. Boston Back Bay coming up. That's a nicer one. That one. With it on the curve. You, Lexic Dark. In the railway world, we call that inhuman requirements.
The Easter Bunny left me stuff. Wench Easter Bunny gave me stuff yesterday and day before yesterday, and Aldi Easter Bunny gave me stuff yesterday on the way home from the railway. I have had it referred to as using the cab hose by those in inappropriate circles. Get on the damn brake. So while people are trying to figure out if any Boston and Albany PAs survived today, there was one special PA built by a guy named Tom C. Clark, numbered 1776. What was it? Trying to drop coal in the bucket at all. Is there a train behind me? Where that light suddenly come from? Ah. The bucket is for washing you. Or cooling you down in summer. It was the original Freedom Train, Brad. You are correct. In 1919, after its merger with New York Central, the Boston and Albany was prosecuted in court. Why? Is that my signal that's red up there? I think it might be. Better put on some brakes, I think. Ah! Brakes, 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 brakes. Lots of brakes. Actually, no, mine's not red. It's okay. It's all good. Brakes off. Brakes off. Roll it on home. I saw these two. I couldn't see the little ones. a very tall, glassy, modern-looking building for 1952. They did get caught, yes. Might be a little bit hard to find, I suppose. The reason that they were set up as a non-profit making shell company, often referred to as a shill by the New York Central. But they got prosecuted because they actually made profit. And in true American style, did the prosecutor win the case against a robber baron type organisation making profit? Rough stop coming up. Beautiful stop in Boston Back Bay there. Who knows? It's quite possible. Who developed this DLC? And off we go. Boston coming up. $7.15, you reckon? Yep, I'll get the TARDIS out. No problemo. Not really going anywhere, because it thinks the brakes are still... Oh, the brakes are still releasing. Let's go, Fang. They were done for tax evasion, yes. Who is the developer of this DLC? I'll accept the person's name or the organisation. Either is fine. And there we go to bread. Let's do some adding up. while this heads into Boston a little while to go. And with today's scores, Brad in the lead, 290, Metra second with 90. Richie Peach, 10. NJTE, 10. Anarchist Angel, 10. Trains, Kits, etc., 10. Lexic Dark, 30. Did I just run through a signal? God damn it. Ah, well, that's one way to end it. Look, there's Boston Back Bay down there. Look at this. Look at it just down there. Almost, man. It's that signal. It's the one that's taken me out a few times in TSW3. That's life. Anyway, it's fairly engaging. I feel comfortable enough to actually review this one now. I think it's actually quite good. There's a bit of an immersion buster with it here and there, because of the modern stuff that you see. But for the most part, it's actually really nicely done. And the locomotives are pretty good. The brakes are a little strange on that last RS-3. Just a little strange. It looks like they're using the scripting without using the notching from the Smokebox brake script, or something similar. It doesn't feel quite right, but that's okay. Well, actually, Brad, that was the right answer. So Brad actually finishes on a straight 300, because the correct answer on the surviving BnA PAs is that there weren't any. What a sneaky bugger I am. Anyway, yes, caught out monologuing again. I was just adding people's stuff up. Next week will be, if I can find it. I'm just thinking, do I have anything installed here I shouldn't? I don't think so. What was it called? I've forgotten. The Steam one. Rio Grande. Rio Grande Southern. That's what we want. This one. So next week's Steam will be on the Rio Grande Southern. I'll either use their scenarios or I will make one up. I'm not sure yet, because I'd like to have some passenger stuff on this, because it's got passenger stations. So I might make one up for passenger, and we have a mixed freight and passenger. We could do that. Maybe drive it up and drive it back. That would work. But anyway, it's got a patch now. So if you haven't seen the patch, game changer, total game changer. Takes it from a to a pretty good. Anyway, have fun, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Tomorrow I'll be back on a real steam engine. So if you're up at Puffing Billy, drop in, say hello. I'm on the Big Gay Rat, which is NGG16, a South African locomotive that was rebuilt and re-gauged to run on 2'6" at Puffing Billy. All right then, have fun. See you later. Bye. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments, because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.